Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Novo2. Welcome to my Hive walkthrough video here. We're on veteran mode, so it's real easy, real chill. I'm going to walk you through this Hive in particular. I'll go through all of them eventually. We're doing the cut today. The way that these videos are going to be broken down, and I highly recommend that you check out the timestamps for the information that interests you the most. But the way this is going to work is that I'm going to start off every Hive video for the most part with a sort of general synopsis, like what's going on with this Hive, how does it feel, what do we get from sort of this Hive in general, and not like the loot specifically. You'll see when I talk about it. Secondly, I will then describe to you how this Hive is sort of built, the sort of map layout in general, a sort of generalization of how or what you're going to be experiencing as you go through this Hive. Let's talk about it in a general sense. Then I will then actually go through the Hive, demonstrating and talking about what we see and what's going on, talking about the little sort of tips and tricks and guide as far as the nuance of actually how the level plays out and what you're actually encountering. So let's begin with generalization of the cut, and that it's a incredibly linear Hive. All of the Hives are, for the most part, linear in one way or another, but they have a large variety of like alternative paths and optional looting areas and things like that, which the cut has. But when it does deviate, it's incredibly short. Very, very short deviations. You're almost never deviating from the path for more than a minute, because all of the extra looting, even the deviations, are almost on the main path. What's really special and important, though, about the cut in general is how easy it is to get to the first exit. The first exit, and we'll see in the original chamber here when I show you how quickly and how safely you can complete the first third of the cut. This is important because I'm sure many of you have been there in this position, especially in no hope mode. You're in a mission, the mission has fallen apart, all hope is lost, and you see a Hive entrance, and you go, we're probably not going to beat this mission. We're close to death. Let's take the Hive entrance out, complete this mission, give ourselves a chance, keep the run going, right? If you're taking a Hive entrance out of a mission, out of desperation, what Hive do you want to get? It's the cut. The cut is by far the easiest first exit. You're always hoping for the cut. There's some other Hives that are also good to get as far as a quick and easy sort of get out of jail free card that the Hives can be. 300 feet below is one of them, or 300 below is one of them. We'll talk about it when we get there, though. So that's the important thing about the cut. It's the Hive that we want if we've used the Hive entrance to escape a bad mission. Secondly, now, the layout of the Hive itself. I'm going to open up the safe room door and start going through it. The Hive, the cut is designed very, very simply. We will enter a hallway chamber, some sort of glorified hallway in one way or another. That hallway will lead us to a main chamber, and that main chamber will have a nest. That nest will have a node connected to it. We blow up the nest, we will be rewarded with some loot, an extraction, or the opportunity to push forward. If we push forward, we'll enter a second sort of hallway area that will lead us to a second chamber with a second nest, and if we blow up that second nest, we'll get another extraction point, another pile of loot, and the opportunity to keep pushing forward. If we push forward, we'll enter a third hallway area, sort of third glorified hallway area, that will lead to a third chamber with a third nest. That is the final bit of the cut, where if you blow up the third nest, you'll get the final extraction point. One thing that's important to note is that the cut, interestingly enough, I think sort of ramps up in difficulty per nest area, per drop down. So the first third of the cut, super simple, super easy to do. The second, a little more dynamic, bigger chamber, and along with that, there will be 2 nodes to pop in the second chamber. The first nest only has 1, second chamber will have 2 nests, or 2 nodes. The third chamber will have 3 nodes connected to the nest, forcing you to potentially eat 3 separate hordes in order to complete that relative chamber. So, that is how it's laid out. Let us get into it now. One thing that I want to point out right out the back is that this is a safe room that you can get back into. Some of the other hives, you cannot do that. Some of the other hives have that if you leave the safe room and you drop down, you're pretty much, you're in it, you're committed. But note that you can retreat back to the safe room. And interestingly enough, this safe room has a long hallway in the back of it. You cannot fall down, this is a wall, and you can actually hold out here. I don't think you'll ever end up using that, but in theory, if something has gone horribly, horribly wrong, you can sort of fall back all the way to the safe room.
Who said you could hit me?
Now we are in our hallway section of the first third of the map. To the left is a fall, to the right is just a wall. So we have literally just a hallway-like path, and there's not really too much that we can do to deviate from it. Not only is it a hallway, we have tons of line of sight all the way down to the chamber entrance. So if there is a mutation, we have plenty of room to back up and shoot it at the same time. Plenty of room to basically kite it. Again, just super easy approach. Very, very convenient and safe for us to get to this first chamber. One thing I want to mention about the webbing, and I'll probably end up saying this every single video that I do, I like to shoot behind this webbing before I commit to opening it. We can't run past through this. We can't run through this because it's a wall for us. Behind it, though, there could be Ridden, and Ridden can run freely through this webbing. So if there are zombies in this chamber right here, and you run up and start removing it, sometimes your presence will aggro the zombies on the other side that you maybe can't see because of the wall, the webbing, and they will run up and start whacking you while you're trying to remove the webbing. So I usually like to shoot a couple of bullets in there, wake everything up if there is something in there at all, and then it'll run out at me, and I can deal with it safely. And then once I know it's clear, then I'll remove the webbing. Now that we're in the chamber here, our nest is over there, and our single node that we need to pop is here. Not only do we have an easy approach, we have an incredible holdout spot. This is a super deep tunnel, plenty of space to play in, and you cannot be flanked. It's a great spot to hold out in. So we will be doing that, demonstrating using that spot in particular. Now, obviously this is just a node. You run over to it, you blow it up, starting a horde event, and it makes the nest vulnerable for destruction. But there is a optimal way to do this node. As you can see from out here, we can see one of the orbs. It is the only orb that we can see out here. So I would highly recommend that you fight your way over here, no big deal. Pop these two orbs, and then run back out. And we can run all the way back out here. All the way over here even. Right, our teammates are waiting for us at the holdout spot. One player has gone out. He's set up here. And we can shoot this orb from here. Excuse me, guys. Pop the orb, and then we can just run back to our holdout spot. And shooting the orb from out there is just makes you closer, puts you closer to our holdout spot. Yeah, we do have Cost of Avarice here, so we're going to drop that money. We don't really care about it. Cost of Avarice does tend to mess up the bots quite a bit. They take double damage and they move real slow. I would recommend that you play at the mouth of this holdout spot. If a Reeker shows up, or any sort, or like a Urchin, or any sort of splash damage, you want a little bit of space to retreat back into. So there's going to be a player holding the right side of this cave. He should be looking right here because things will round this corner and he can punch it, shoot it, etc. Now we're at the nest. Notice that there is a sleeper behind this nest. If you blow up this node and blow up this nest, this right here becomes a spawn point for the zombies. So if you're trying to speedy zoom this, sometimes you'll have a horde spawning literally right in front of you. You'll need to get out here, get vision to stop it from spawning there. A weapon crate can spawn up there, and as you can see, there's even some armor that spawned up there. Kind of neat. But that's our first chamber done. Super easy approach, really good holdout spot for the nest itself. We're rewarded with loot and extraction. And of course, now we can jump down and tempt fate if we wish to do that. One thing for the hives in general, this yellow ladder represents that you can safely drop down. It also represents that you can no longer get back up. This ladder will be used in all of the hives to represent that you can drop down here. But it is a one-way trip. Let's open this up. We got one entrance here, one entrance here. Oh. Oh.
Nice. I needed
Nice.
Fighter fall.
So now we have entered our second sort of glorified hallway area. Two paths though. Very linear, remember. They both go to the same place. The right is the most direct path. The left is the loot path. I'll show you right first. We'll just run across. And these two pathways are connected by a center tunnel next to two pathways. The right path will just take us right here. Be aware of this sleeper right there. And this is the path that will continue on to our chamber to the right. Notice these scratch marks? These sort of like chalk lines or scratch marks represent you can make this jump. This is the game devs telling you that we have designed this for you to jump across. Keep in mind, the bots will successfully make this jump. Let's see if they'll demonstrate. The bots have been fail-safed to not fall to their death in that sort of situation. They will sort of always teleport to the desirable location. That being said, though, keep in mind that sometimes the bots will grab a ledge and be dangling for their life. So not the best. We're now on the left pathway that we saw. Right, there's the warp chest. We're now on the left path. And when it comes to the loot is right here. Right here behind this webbing. Opportunity for loot. And again, just like it's very, very linear. So even when the paths do deviate slightly, it's just the briefest deviation. Just the briefest. And typically you would not want to hold out here in this particular spot. There is a nice holdout spot, sort of towards the end of this hallway section. Notice the scratch marks. You can make this jump. A little bit of a scary jump. You can't get over there. You will fall to your death if you try. What's over here? I have no idea. Why can we get over here? I'm not sure. This is a spawn point. Things will spawn from here. It is a rather good distance, so maybe you can split it 2 and 2. 2 people look here and 2 people look there. Potential holdout spot, but down here is just much, much better. As you'll see, right here on the right, another opportunity for loot. As well as a really good holdout spot. Can't be flanked in this little cave here. It also has a chance to spawn our totems.
Gold totem.
What's up with that?
Get our armor, get some loot.
I don't want to.
So this is the end of our hallway section here, as we now enter the second chamber of the cut. Second chamber, second nest. And this nest has 2 nodes instead of 1. You'll notice 1 node off there in the distance, and there'll be another node sort of right there that we can see. Again, it's very, very linear. So if we need to get up here eventually to this second node. The only way to do that is all the way around. We'll take this entrance or this entrance. We'll both go to the same place, and you walk your way around until you're up there. Now, if you want to stack these nodes, notice how far away they are. So stacking them is going to require 2 players coordinating with each other to do so. Or I will demonstrate right now how you can stack them together as a solo player. But basically, we're going to fight our way over to this node. Pop 2 of the orbs and leave that orb right there alive. We'll then fight our way over to the second orb. We'll pop 2 of them. We'll drop down. We'll jump over this gap right here. You see the scratch marks? It's a doable jump. We'll jump down over here. We'll get right here. And we'll pop the orb. We'll pop that orb. We'll stack them together. And that's how you do it as a solo player. One important thing to note, though. The only good holdout spot in this area is actually at this node. When you blow this node up, it sort of opens up a little cave area, and we can hold out there and not get flanked. We'll also have the option to destroy the nest. It's not necessarily an opportunity to not get flanked. We'll put us in a hallway situation where we can go 2 and 2. But sometimes consumables or like blow-upable tanks like gas cans will spawn in this area. And sometimes you can sort of take a peek and see if it's over there. So no gas can, no propane tank. Because if you pop the 2 nodes, you stack them, you can destroy the nest, run out here, pop a gas can, and then you cover your flank. There's an opportunity to do so. So let's get over here for this horde. Let's use this little holdout spot.
Well, I'm not lost, but I definitely...
Now, usually, as you can see, that they kind of run through this node just a little bit here, but this is the only place in this chamber where you can't get flanked. So this is the only holdout spot. In addition to when we're stacking the node, we'll have the option of running back into the hallway section and use that cave that we ran past to get here.
Flashlight's on.
Alright, so we pop 2 of the orbs, leaving 1 orb behind. This is the orb that we can see from out there. And the only way to go to continue progress is this little cave right here. To our right.
Made it like the skin of our teeth.
Which takes us to the second orb. Pop 2 of the orbs. We're counting down just a little bit, right? Stacking orbs, I have lots of videos where I've done it before, but when you pop one of the orbs, like a 16, 17, 18-ish timer, second timer starts, where the other orbs are hidden, we sort of around 15 seconds
before it gets worse.
pop this orb. Oh, we were too slow. You saw that orb disappear? How embarrassing. Bad stack. Bad stack. A timer begins where the other orbs disappear, but at the end of that timer, the orbs will reappear. So if we pop 2 orbs, count to about 15-ish seconds, and then pop our final orb, we'll look over here, and these orbs will be reappearing, and you can stack the 2 horde events together. Right, and so for the horde event, you can run all the way back here if you like. If you're stacking them together, keep in mind, it can be a spawn point for things. And jumping up there as well. So it could be sketchy run back, but typically though, like you would know you're doing this, you'd pop the orb and you would book it. And if you're playing with teammates, you can have a player standing here and zombies won't spawn in that cave if players are standing in that cave.
Barely pulled through. Still here. Took care of that mess.
Got our second warp crate. If you don't know this, temporary health blocks the trauma damage that that is suffered from the warp crate, which is quite nice. Which is quite nice indeed. And bots in general can't suffer trauma damage unless certain things happen. But that's the second nest, second chamber, second opportunity to leave, and second opportunity to push on to the final third of this chamber, of this hive, the cut. Now we drop down. Beware, sleepers can sort of spawn on these walls as well. Now we're in our glorified hallway section, on our way to the main chamber. Follow the light, the path is over there. So same as before, going right is the correct path, the most linear path. Going left is our loot and scoot path. We'll go left this time. See what's going on. Here there'll be opportunity for loot, cards, but also right here, there can be a entrance to a inner hive. Inner hive entrance can spawn right there. You can make this jump from there to there, just like Mom did. He teleports there. Notice that there's some loot over there. Can't get there from here, though. And now we'll follow the main path. Deviates briefly to down here, where there can be loot, as well as a totem spawn right there. Following the main path, we can climb up here. I've never seen anything up here before. Oh, look at that. The loot can be up here. Things will spawn from up here and drop down on top of you. Not a great holdout spot. There is a holdout spot in this chamber, but it is sketchy to get to. But it is also a loot spot.
Watch out!
Nice. Notice the scratch marks. Right? Notice the scratch marks. We can make this jump. Notice the scratch marks. We can also make this jump, but notice the elevation. This is a sketchy jump. This is a not so good jump for us as the player. I recommend not sprint jumping, and you just jump, sort of walk jump into it. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Maybe you should sprint jump. Oh, let's get rid of the money here. But you can just sort of see it's not... It's a sketchy jump. It's a sketchy jump. I take it back. I take it back. You should sprint jump. I'm sorry. You should sprint jump. But either way, it's just a really weird jump. Not ideal jump. It leads you to some loot, though. You know what I'm saying? How embarrassing. But here, holdout spot. Convenient extra loot. You can spawn here, and it's a convenient place to hold off the horde if you need to do so. But it's just not an ideal place. Oh. Not ideal.
You're in my way. This should
not ideal.
Just putting myself back together here.
So,
this way.
And you can sort of see here how the difficulty is ramped up just a little bit. The first chamber, super easy. The second chamber, a little bit harder. And now we're in the third portion of the cut, and it's sort of ramped up in difficulty just by the way the map is designed and laid out. Sorry for the flashbang effect.
I could use that.
And we're moving on. And of all the hallway sections, this is the longest of all the hallway sections, right? Taking us the most amount of time to get to where we want to go. I mean, we'll open up the warp chest, right? Opportunity for more loot. More opportunity for legendary weapons. Oh, I am going to show you where the hidden achievement is. So if you are not interested in seeing where the hidden achievement is, skip to the next timestamp. But here is the hidden achievement, right? We're in this hallway, this pathway. Cool. Right there. Right there. Just sort of on the edge of this pathway here.
Oh, that's nothing short of terrifying.
Opportunity for some totem action. And now we are in the final chamber of the cut. This nest has 3 levels to it, essentially, or like 2.5. Yeah, 3 levels right here. So we have 3 nodes now that we need to break. And there's a ground floor, sort of a second floor, and then the bridge sort of goes up to sort of like a 3rd floor. I highly recommend that you start breaking the nodes from the bottom up. From the bottom up. Notice the scratch marks, jumps that we can make. Now, we found the totem earlier, but totems can sort of spawn in this mush, I find. Here or above us in the mush, there'll be a totem available to us. Notice the lack of scratch marks, but you can make these jumps rather comfortably for the most part. We'll just pop the node. And I'm going to be running to our first holdout spot. This bottom node, horrible node to hold out at. Nothing there, nothing going on there. Oh, not good. Not good. Not good. But we've stabilized. So that first node, there's nothing good down there, nothing to protect you with. The second node and the third node are in little caves that are naturally holdout spots. So even though this third chamber is the most complex, we do get 2 very convenient holdout spots. Due to the distance, though, stacking these nodes together is quite dangerous because the party will be rather split. And there's really no way to conveniently stack these nodes beyond the first 2. Especially if you're a solo player. So we'll pop the node, and we'll hold off against the horde. And we'll wait for the audio cue when we leave this chamber after this horde, but there is a guaranteed ogre spawn after we pop the second node. whatever node it is, once you pop the second node in this chamber, an ogre will spawn. And of course, there's a totem right here, which is our third totem. And out of the depths comes the ogre. The ogre can go pretty much everywhere. He can go down here. He can climb up here. We're now on our way to the third node. There is the nest entrance, and you can see our ladder over there. There is no loot behind this node most of the time. The third chamber loot is right here usually. And here's the other entrance to the inner hive that I know of. It's right by our final node. Almost tempting you to just to do it. Just to do it. I do want to mention right here this little side passageway. The ogre can climb up here and can stand all the way here and block you. The ogre can animate and reach into these caves and pull people out, so just keep that in mind. So if the ogre runs up here, which he may not, the ogre does tend to get stuck down here sometimes, but the ogre can climb up right there. Let's get in here. Let's pop our final node. And it looks like we're going to be able to demonstrate. So, this ogre is going to be alive still once this horde event's over, and he can stand literally right here and block us. But this little pathway to the left will be our way out. And we're almost done. Oh, hello. And we're almost done. And we'll throw a pipe on. We only need one more pipe on if we really want to, if we really need it. And notice this ogre now just puppy dog camping us. So if you got the ammo, you can just unload into him. He's pretty dang close. There's him reaching in. You sort of want him to walk away just a little bit. Sort of want him to walk away. If he's just guarding the entrance super hard like this, then you can't escape. You're just at the mercy of it all. But there we go. So now we can use this little side chamber here. Pop the nest. And we are now here. And there's just no loot over here. And the ogre gets stuck right there. He can't enter this area. We can throw a pipe bomb to escape and things like that. So, that is the cut. That is the cut. I did not mean to extract from that. I hope this video is good and I don't have to do it again. Let's see what's there. Oh yeah, it's been completed. Okay. That is the cut, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns or problems with this mission. That's it in a nutshell, though. It's just hallway, chamber, nest, hallway, chamber, nest, with convenient exits. And if you are looking to get out quick, the cut is a great hive for that. Leave your comments below. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the future.